Welcome to the C-Suite series, presented by Channel Check and Noble Capital Markets. Noble's an SEC-registered, FINRA licensed broker-dealer and the source of the equity research available on Channel Check. Today's interview features Orion Group Holdings, NYSE ticker symbol ORN. Noble Senior Research Analyst Joe Gomes interviews Orion President and CEO Travis Boone. Visit channelcheck.com or click the link in the description to access equity research, news, and advanced market data on Orion Group Holdings, all at no cost. And now, here's Joe and Travis.
With us today is Travis Boone, President and Chief Executive Officer of Orion Group Holdings. Good afternoon, Travis, and thanks for taking the time to sit down with us.
Thanks, Joe. Good afternoon to you.
For those in the audience unfamiliar with Orion Group Holdings, can you talk a little bit about the company's history and what the company does?
Sure. We were founded in 1994. We're a construction company that's primarily been built by acquisition. Our oldest legacy company is about 80 years old or more. And we have two main segments, marine and concrete.
Now, you joined Orion just about a year ago. Can you give us a brief background on yourself and what attracted you to Orion?
Sure. So background-wise, I grew up. My dad was a contractor. I'll say a small contractor. I kind of grew up in construction from a small child, working, helping him build things and kind of throughout my early years, and then decided to get a engineering degree and go become a bridge engineer. And so I went to work for a company called URS in 1999 as a bridge engineer. Little did I know that the time that I spent kind of growing up in construction and running construction crews and things like that gave me a set of skills that I didn't even know I had at the time. And I fairly quickly sort of evolved away from being a technical engineer to more of to leading teams, doing business development, helping grow the business. And the teams kept getting bigger, and the business kept getting bigger. And over about a 23-year stretch from when I started at URS, and then it became AECOM ultimately through an acquisition. When I left, I was leading about a $2.3 billion business over most of the U.S. and the Pacific, about 8,000 people and 88 offices. And when I actually wasn't planning on leaving AECOM, I wasn't looking for a job. I was happy and doing well there. And I got the phone call about the opportunity at Orion, and my immediate reaction, quite frankly, was first thing I did was put it in my phone. I put an ORN in the stock ticker, and I saw the price of the stock, and I said, "No, thank you. I'm not interested in that. That's of no interest to me." And they kept after me and started sending me information. And when I finally got around to taking a look at it, I saw a company that needed help. I saw real opportunity to take a company to really help it become a lot more than it was. And my last 5+ years at AECOM, I had a lot of experience turning parts of the business around. And the issues that I saw within Orion were all, in my opinion, they were all fixable issues. And so my first reaction of no thank you turned into more, I'll say, optimism, and I saw a real opportunity to really take the company somewhere it hadn't been before. And so that sort of disinterest turned into excitement, and ultimately the board elected to bring me in, and it's been a great first year. I started almost 1 year ago. It'll be one year here in about 7 days. So it's gone very quickly. We've been very busy, but it's been a great year for us.
Well, we're certainly glad you took the opportunity here at Orion. Let's go back to the business. As you mentioned, the company operates through two segments, marine and concrete.
Mhm.
Can you give us a brief overview of each, what they do, who are their customers, why they choose Orion Group? And what's a differentiator for these segments?
Sure. The marine business is construction of ports, docks, seawalls, basically any maritime infrastructure that is along the coast and in the Caribbean and the Pacific. We do dredging, we do commercial diving, we do engineering and design, we do environmental work. So it's a lot of different work in kind of the marine world. If it's sort of related to construction, we do it. Everything from bridges to docks and piers, and do work for loading arms in the private sector. A lot of different things there. Our clients are both public and private sector. We do work with clients, everything from the U.S. Navy and the Army Corps of Engineers to the different ports in along the coast. A few notable: Port of Seattle, Port of Tampa Bay, Port of New Orleans, Port of Houston. We do quite a work with some of the bigger ports. And then on the private sector, we do a lot of work for the petrochem industry. Basically, any of the private sector companies that have facilities along the coast, we work for them as well. And then on the concrete side, it's a commercial concrete construction, primarily large buildings in Dallas and in Houston markets. And it's everything from very large, kind of single, two-story, the very expansive buildings for like manufacturing facilities, warehouses, data centers. Some of these buildings are 20 or 30 acres under one roof. And then on the other, we also do large multi-story high-rise buildings, 45-story type buildings that we construct as well. And our clients typically are big general contractors, and it's usually private sector work. That is a place that we want to kind of evolve that business and do more public sector work in our concrete segment. I'd say differentiators. I mean, the biggest thing for us, our kind of foundational core value is integrity. Everything we do, we stand on integrity. We don't want to be the kind of contractor that's bidding work with the intention of suing a client and having a bad relationship. We want our projects to go well. We strive really hard to do great quality work, to meet schedules, to meet budgets, and then make money along the way. So it's about the term we use is predictable excellence, right? We want to have everything we do, it's predictable and it's excellent. So I'd say that's probably our key differentiator.
Thanks for the insight there. There's been some significant increases in funding for marine infrastructure lately. How is this benefiting Orion?
I'd say generally it allows us to be more strategic with our investments. The strong market gives us a lot of confidence in how we make our investments in the equipment and tools we need to capitalize on what's happening in the market. It allows us to be more focused on specific types of projects and sizes of projects that fit us best with clients that we want to work for. And I mean, generally it gives us a great tailwind to help us grow our business profitably.
Okay. Now, along those same lines, the company recently was awarded a major contract to construct a dry dock at Pearl Harbor.
Mhm.
Can you provide us some additional detail about this project and the timeline for Orion for the project?
Sure. We won a $435 million contract. It's for the U.S. Navy. The project is actually to build a dry dock for nuclear submarines. There's not a dry dock for these large nuclear subs in the Pacific currently, and with tensions with China, et cetera, the Navy, this is the highest priority project for the Navy, and that is to build this dry dock. So our piece is just building we're basically driving piles for temporary shoring for this dry dock construction. So we're mobilizing now. We'll start driving piles late in the year, and we should be finished by mid 2025 or so. Overall, the project I think is going to go 4 or 5 years, but we'll be long gone before then. And I think we did a really good job of negotiating great terms with the joint venture as well as with our vendors to really kind of shore up our risk. It's a big project for us, the biggest one we've ever done, and so we had a lot of concerns about making sure we didn't bite off more than we could chew, and to make sure we had our risks covered. And so I think we contractually covered ourselves well on the project.
Excellent. Now moving to the concrete side.
Mm-hmm.
You recently exited the Central Texas market. What was behind that decision, and how is the environment for the Dallas and Houston markets you are currently in?
So the troubles in Central Texas started long before I got here. For years, we've struggled to make money in that market for a variety of reasons. Ultimately, made the decision to pull out of there because it was such a distraction from the rest of our business. Our Dallas and Houston businesses are strong, and it was a big distraction to the rest of the business to try to get that business figured out. So we ultimately decided we're going to step away from there and really focus on where we've been profitable, where we can do good work, and that's Dallas and Houston. And so we really just, it was really about focus and getting our business healthy. And so we sort of took that variable out of the mix so that we could be really focused on those two markets. So we're opportunistic. We do some work in other parts of the country and other parts of Texas outside of Dallas and Houston, but it's opportunistic with clients we know and projects that we're going to do well at. And so we may go down there from time to time from Houston or Dallas to the Austin market, but that's our focus is Dallas and Houston at the moment. And the environment for those two kind of markets are strong. As you may know, Texas does a good job of riding out economic storms better than a lot of places. And there's a lot of growth happening in both Houston and Dallas. Companies moving in, people moving in, and that drives a lot of what we do. So we haven't seen impacts, recession and things like that haven't impacted us so far. We feel very fortunate that the work we're doing is staying strong. We're continuing to bid work. We're continuing to deliver profitable work.
Excellent. You mentioned a potential opportunity on the government side for the concrete business. Where do your efforts currently stand?
So we have won our first public sector project in the concrete business. We're executing that now. It's going well. We have several others that we've targeted. We're hopeful by the end of the year we'll have another one or two under our belt. But we're working our way into it. It's not something that got to be careful about how you do it because you only get one shot at it. So we're being careful about how we kind of enter the public sector market with our business, and but it's definitely a place that we think we can help diversify our business and shore it up from any concerns of the economy by having some of that public sector work in our backlog.
Sounds like a really positive opportunity for Orion there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain the changes you've made to your capital structure since you've joined Orion?
Yeah, I mean, the first and probably the biggest thing we did was we refinanced our debt. We now have a $103 million ABL credit facility in place. That was a big thing for us. We were coming up on a maturity of our debt structure and needed to do something different. So we've got a good credit facility in place that allows us to make investments that we need to make and continue to operate our business in a healthy way. We've been disposing of non-core assets. That's including both equipment and real estate. We've got more to do, but we've done quite a bit so far this year. Our focus on kind of bigger projects and better backlog is helping us to improve our cash flow, and so that we're not relying just on debt capacity to do business. We're making investments in the business, in our people, in our systems, tools, equipment, so that we can continue to grow in a healthy way.
Okay. Recently, there's been a lot of talk in the press about inflation, supply chain constraints, and imbalance in supply demand for employees. How is the company addressing these challenges?
Yeah, these are all challenges that just about every industry is trying to work through. Supply chain hasn't really been a big issue for us here this year in 2023. Although some of the challenges from last year in the supply chain that we ran up against taught us some great lessons about what to do to protect ourselves in the future. So we are doing some things different from lessons learned from last year in case it comes up again. On the inflation side, it is making projects cost more to build, which puts a strain on our clients' budgets. Our concrete business being more private sector oriented, we typically have escalators built into our contracts that help protect us from some of that. With our marine business, it's not as common because it's more public sector focused, so we have to handle it more with contingency in our bids, which can be a little difficult sometimes with longer term projects where there could be up 3 years or 4 years long. But probably where it impacts us the most is on the cost of labor, and that kind of takes me into the support the finding people side of it. Finding people is definitely a challenge that everyone in just about every industry, again, is struggling to solve. We're having to work harder to find the people that we need, especially, experienced project managers and senior folks, whether it's estimators or others that kind of know their craft. So we're focused on developing our people so that we can fill senior roles internally. We're also finding ways to work smarter and use technology to help fill some gaps. So it's something that I think everyone is going to continue to struggle with for some period of time here, but I think we've been doing okay at it. It's just something it takes more effort than it used to.
What do you see as the biggest opportunities for the company going forward?
I think for us, it's about capitalizing on market opportunities. We got to stay focused and disciplined on pursuing and delivering the right projects. We have great people who know how to do the specialized work that we do. And so for us, it's doing what we know how to do and deliver. As we talked about, you said it, there's a lot of funding for marine projects going forward. And so for us, it's about making sure that we're ready to do that more bigger projects as the market sort of matures here and some of that money comes in to help fund projects.
And finally, why don't you give us your elevator pitch for an investor looking at Orion Group Holdings?
I would say we're a great investment. Orion has all the characteristics of a value stock and all the opportunities of a growth stock. There are numerous dynamics that positively influence our future. We have the people, the assets, the market, and the ability to deliver. There's nothing standing in our way of growing this company to reach its full potential.
Well, Travis, we covered a lot of ground today and got significant insight into what Orion Group Holdings does, its markets, and opportunities. We appreciate you taking the time to do this CEO interview, and we wish you and the company the best in the future. Thanks again.
Thank you, Joe.
NobleCon 19 at Florida Atlantic University. Located at the center of one of South Florida's most vibrant and fastest growing cities, Boca Raton offers an unparalleled cultural, recreational, educational, and business environment, the perfect setting for NobleCon 19. Now in its 19th year, NobleCon 2023 will be our biggest ever. We're inviting more companies, larger companies, and dramatically expanding the investor representation. And with the move to the FAU College of Business Executive Education, all new, state-of-the-art 50,000 square foot facility, NobleCon is the gold standard on the conference circuit. NobleCon 19 at FAU. It's time to invest in knowledge.